Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews. Today we're checking out the latest listing for Zeigler Yacht Sales. I've actually known this boat was coming to the market for a little while now, and I was desperate to get on board as soon as it was ready. And having spent some time on board, this is definitely one of my favourites from the channel. This is a 2006 Grand Alaskan Pilothouse 64. At the time of shooting the video, she was up for sale for $835,000 and available in Jacksonville, Florida. She measures in at 64 feet in length. She's got a beam of over 17 feet and she's got a draft of just under 5 feet. She's capable of cruising around 10 knots and top speed is around 17 knots. I love the appearance of this one, especially with that dark painted hull. It's got a great shine to it and this boat really stands out in the marina. You've got easy access to both port and starboard side, and it doesn't matter where you are on board, it feels like it's got the perfect design. Once you step on board to the aft cockpit, you'll see that this one's got the overhead hanging from the flybridge, so it can be fully enclosed, giving you shade, protection and shelter. It's got canopies that can roll down. We've got a great setup here with cockpit seating. There's storage underneath those seats. You see here we've got speakers built into basically the armrests on either side. And underneath that cockpit table is a large lazarette, but there's easier access to that we'll show you later on in the video. We also have easy access down to that extended bathing platform. Now the owner of this boat has thoroughly enjoyed using it for offshore diving. So it has got a proper boarding ladder, and you'll see that there's more diving activities and equipment stored on board. But it also makes it easy for boarding that sports tender that's up on the flybridge, which we'll show you once we get up there as well. And as I make my way around the side of the decks, I like how wide the deck space is. It's got the overhang again from the flybridge, so there's more protection. It's got lights built into it, so it'll be easy enough to do at night. You get enough woodwork on board where it's got that nice feel to it, but without having all that excess maintenance. We do have side door access from the helm, and this is from both port and starboard side. We also have more dock access up here as well. And that wraparound Portuguese bridge, you'll see that we've got more storage in here, and particularly this one's connected to all different shore power connections. But it feels like you're on board a mini ship. Everything about this boat is solid and so well built and so well crafted. The bow area itself can be shut off if you prefer. But once you venture out here, you'll see that on the guardrails itself, we've got large fender baskets. Those are great for storing the fenders and not taking up any of the storage compartments. And the electric windlass, not only is it equipped with 2 anchors, but you'll see the windlass actually has the winch on the side of it. Now this yacht's believed to be capable of being able to do the great loop, so if you're going through those lock gates, those winch drums are going to be really beneficial to you. And if we open up one of the anchor lockers here, you'll see that there's plenty of space in here. It's also got the deck wash. It's got different options so you can put different fenders and bow lines in here. And then as I pan the camera around, you'll see that in front of that Portuguese bridge, we've got a really comfortable seating area. This would be great relaxation for cruising, but it'd also be nice while you're at anchor as well. You'll see we do have different compartments up here for the shore power connections, as well as a deck wash down below. And this does have the Glendinning cable management system installed. And as for those seats, those have got plenty of storage underneath, and again those storage does have the locking options. Stop anything popping open while the boat's underway, but you can also securely lock away your personal belongings. This is a boat that's clearly designed, built and equipped for extended cruising, and as soon as you step inside that accommodation, you immediately feel like you're home and you could easily live on here full time. I love those big wraparound windows, there's so much natural light in here. I love the woodwork for that nautical character, but this isn't all show and no go. This one's designed for offshore cruising. You'll see things like you've got the centre line handhold in place along the roof. That way if there's ever rough weather you've got something to grab onto. To starboard you do have a drinks cabinet, and this also houses some of the entertainment systems on board. Different storage drawers down below, and then this one does have a large flat screen TV, and this is a pop-up TV. And I quite like having pop-up TVs in a boat like that because I always feel like they're safer and secure when the TV's retracted, but obviously there's great visibility whenever they want to be used. And the yacht's also equipped with KVH satellite controls, so there's always going to be something available to watch on board. And then in the saloon we do have this cockpit table. The leaves for this one expand out, and this is also a high and low table so you can raise and lower it to suit. Moving forward, the galley's got a large countertop space. It makes this perfect for a breakfast bar setup. You'll see here on the starboard side we do have a drinks fridge for more refreshments for your friends and family on board. And then one design feature for this one, you don't always see of a boat of this size, is this one's actually got a day heads on the starboard side. So that way you've got access to the toilet without having to go down the steps into the lower accommodation. And as for the heads compartment, this yacht's equipped with a 350 gallon freshwater capacity. She's got a 100 gallon holding tank capacity. And she's actually got 1,300 gallons of fuel on board as well. Stepping into the galley, this one can easily prepare all your favourite meals from home. There's so much countertop space, there's so much storage in here. You've got the black granite countertops, you've got 4 sub-zero refrigerator drawers with locks. You've got a Fisher drawer style dishwasher. And throughout the yacht, you're going to see a lot of the storage options have got that louver effect on the door. What that means is you're going to get fresh air circulating through there, so you don't have to worry about that same mold dampness smell that you sometimes get on yachts. We've got the double stainless steel sink. That's a GE 4-burner electric stovetop. We then have got the convection microwave oven with the exhaust fan overhead. And as I mentioned, there's a total of 4 refrigerated drawers, so you've got the refrigeration on both sides of the galley. Plenty of room for all your favourite food, as well as having your drinks close by. And if I take those steps on the starboard side, that's going to lead down to the guest accommodation. I like the handholds that's in place. I like the fact that the steps aren't too steep. It's easy enough to get up and down these steps without any issues. And impressive woodwork remains. Everywhere on board you go, you always see that stunning finish. And I believe this is a queen size island berth. I like how accessible it is from either side. I like the amount of storage drawers, lockers, cabinets that's down here. Again, this is intended for extended cruising. And with this yacht, you are going to be in absolutely no hurry back home. Mounted on the bulkhead above those pillows is a large mirror. That helps make the cabin feel even bigger, but it also helps bounce some of that light on here. And in terms of light, you do have natural light coming in from the opening portholes, but you've also got plenty of artificial light in here as well. I was impressed with the size of the hanging locker space in here. This is pretty much full height. You got more mirrors on the forward bulkhead. You'll see we've also got a large flat screen TV. Again, this is connected up to that satellite system. In this cabin, the storage that you see to the starboard side of the bed, that's actually got both a washer and a dryer built into it. Not only can you keep your clothes clean, but that way you get fresh towels, fresh linens whenever you want it. This cabin is of course fully en suite, and I like the fact that the toilet and the shower is separate. That's one of the largest shower compartments I've seen in a boat of this size. It's also got a little bench area that you can easily sit down if you preferred. The shower itself also has an opening porthole, that way you can get some ventilation and avoid that steam building up. But one of the important features of this cabin is you've actually got access to the engine room from down here. So the engines are basically located underneath the main saloon. There's a number of compartments that you can lift on the deck up there, but for easy access, especially for your day-to-day maintenance, I would come down through this way. And anytime I'm doing these videos, I always think, hypothetically, if I was buying the boat, what would it be like to take over? And I love the fact of just how detailed the engine compartment is. Every lever, every switch, every cable, everything you can imagine is clearly labelled. And down here you got twin Caterpillar. These are C12 diesel engines. They're approximately 700 horsepower each. And at the time of shooting this video, they had just under 4,200 hours on the clock. There is easy access down here for your day-to-day maintenance. I also like the fact there's as many gauges built into the side of the engine, so if you are doing your maintenance, you know what's going on without having to rely on everybody at the helm. Look at how clean those engines are, and also the engine room itself. There's no signs of any leaks, whether that be fuel, oil or water. You do have access to all your fuel and oil water separators. And again, you can see everything's clearly labelled with when they were last serviced and when they're due to be serviced. And as well as having 2 main engines, you've also got 2 generators down here. These generators are located inside insulated sound boxes, so if you are running the generators, especially if you're going to be sleeping in any of the cabins, I doubt you'd know that generator's running. They're both Northern Light generators, and there's a number of spares that come along with this boat, as well as full documentation and history of the maintenance that's been taking place. We've also got your full battery banks, and then there's actually a door that leads straight into that lazarette I mentioned earlier. You get steps that lead out to that aft cockpit, but you've got plenty of storage down here for all your tools, for all your cleaning materials, for all your engine service materials. But we even have a water maker down here. The spec that's involved with this one is just unreal. Bow thruster, stern thruster, stabilizers, twin generators, twin engines, water maker, you name it, it's all included. We even have 4 separate air conditioning units on board. And if we make our way back out through the engine room, back into that cabin and back up the steps, it takes you to the main deck level and just in front of the galleys when you enter the pilot house. And the amount of visibility you get from this yacht is unreal. And as well as having the main helm seat, you've got a wraparound seating area that your friends and family can join you on. It's got a little cockpit table, but that's got a double purpose because that cockpit table is going to fold out and it can also drop down, and that way it becomes a double berth. This would be an excellent watch berth, either for passage making or for when you're at anchor. Above this seating area, we've got a little library section. This is full of documentation as well as charts. So a lot of history goes with this boat. And anytime I see this amount of documentation, I always get the impression there's a lot of pride into the ownership from the current and previous owners. And this yacht's ready to go, whether you want to go and do something like the Great Loop, whether you want to head down to the Caribbean, or a combination of both. We do have side door access to both the port and starboard side. These are also split doors, so if you wanted to, you can open the top half. We've got your main control panel. Again, everything's clearly labelled. And that goes for your AC and your DC controls and your generator controls. Generator 1's 8 kilowatt, and this one's got just over 1500 hours on the clock. Generator 2 is a 16 kilowatt, and this has got just under 2500 hours on the clock. I like how much space is at the helm for your traditional charts, as well as filling out logbooks and following different course materials. This has been set up where that port side monitor has got connections so you can run it off a laptop. You got multifunction displays. You've also got multiple cameras on board. That includes the rear of the boat whenever it comes to close quarter maneuvering, but it's also got engine room so you can constantly keep an eye on down there. Wind speed and direction, speed log and depth, autopilot. You got your stabilizer controls, you got both your bow and stern thruster. Engine instrumentation, you got a rudder angle indicator. Still don't know why these are rare to find. I think they're great to have. Digital throttles. And plenty of monitoring systems. Whether that's to do with the bilges, whether it's to do with the tanks. This is a boat that's equipped for passage making and for making it as safe as possible. And because the pilot house is slightly forward from the flybridge, you've actually got a large opening hatch overhead. This gives more light and ventilation if you want it. I've also got another handhold in place, so again, if this is ever pitching and rolling, you've got something to hold on to. And then we've got a passageway that leads down to the owner's stateroom on the bow. And as someone that spent approximately 3 years and worked from home after the COVID outbreak, I would love for this to be my home office setup. This one's got a proper office down here. Again, this could be used for your charts and navigation, but you could also use this for keeping an eye on stocks and investments, for business interests that you may have. And you'll notice again, these all have the push button lock mechanism for all those drawers and lockers. Plenty of artificial light, but you get plenty of natural light coming through those opening hatches that we've got overhead. And then I just love the setup that is in the owner's cabin on the bow. So much headroom in here. This has to be easily 7 foot tall. I'm 6'2" and I have got no issue at all. I love the woodwork finish throughout, and storage is always a premium whenever you're looking at boats, especially when you're looking at liveaboards, but this one has got that covered hands down. Not only do we have hanging locker spaces, we've got opening cabinets and drawers. There's even storage underneath the bed itself. That's going to be accessed through 4 different drawers, but you can also lift the mattress and get access in here too. And as I do a close-up of the woodwork, just look at like the grain that's on the woodwork. Everything's top quality throughout. And I can slide these partitions and I get access to the opening hatches. And there's a really large hatch overhead. And of course this cabin is fully en suite. It's got its own heads compartment. The toilet and the shower are separate. You've got your sink and personal space for all your toiletries and personal belongings. And as with the guest shower compartment, this one's also got a little bench built into it that you can sit down and use if you prefer. And you've got plenty of room in here to enjoy that shower. And even the shower door itself's got a clever design where it kind of folds in half to make it easier to get in and out the shower. Now if we go back up to the Pilothouse, there's easy access up to the flybridge. And when I think of flybridge, normally that's just for close quarter manoeuvring, but for this one, it's for cruising. Just look at the setup up here. Look at how much space you have for your friends and family to join you. You've got a bimini canopy top overhead. This is fully enclosed. You can remove the canopy in sections. You can open it up or you can remove it completely. I'm impressed by the framework for the canopy. At no point do you feel the canopy move. And as with the lower helm, you've got a great amount of electronics up here. I've got full engine instrumentation, speed log depth, autopilot, the multifunction Garmin display. Again, digital throttles, that way you can change the configuration for them. Bow and stern thruster controls, the stabilizer controls. Good storage compartment up here that's weatherproof. This would be ideal for storing some paperwork in, but you can also store things like your cell phone. And I want to focus in on that radar arch. You'll see that it has got some major infrastructure to it in terms of hinges and brackets. This one is also a soft top, it doesn't have the hard top, so you can remove all that canopy, you can drop that radar arch, and my understanding is this one is capable of being able to do the Great Loop. And while you're cruising along, what better way than to cook out your favourite meals? You've got a little wet bar out here. Underneath you're going to find you've got a full-size fridge. You've then got a 3-burner gas grill just on the outside of that enclosure. That way you can prepare all your favourite meals for your friends and family on board. If this was my yacht, I could see me doing most of the cruising from the flybridge. And then behind that grill, you're going to see that there's a £1,700 fully hydraulic. This is a Nautical Structures tender davit. And you need something substantial on this one because it's equipped with a 2007 14-foot rigid inflatable tender. That tender's got a 60 horsepower Yamaha outboard with approximately 150 hours on the clock. The tender's got console steering, electric start. There's instrumentation including a depth gauge as well as a Bluetooth stereo and 2 waterproof speakers. And then again you can see we've got dive tanks up here as well as fishing rods on the aft. As I pan round you can see some of those antennas and track visions and navigation equipment we have overhead. And what it first looks like 2 large storage compartments, you'll find that under one of these sections you're going to have a chest freezer. And the one on the port side has just been used for general purpose storage. You can put lifelines in here, you've got fenders in here, different ropes, canopy covers. And I like how strong those hydraulic arms are for opening the hatches. Also notice there's no flex and movement in the hatches. Everything about this yacht is 100% solid. And that chest freezer would be ideal for bringing all your favourite food with you, but you could also use that for storing bait for fishing or storing some of the catch that you bring on board. And then from the flybridge, if I do a quick walk around, you'll see that it does have a little bit of a passageway around the side, but you can see that we've got ways of dropping those aerial antennas, and also you can see all those hinge brackets to do with that radar arch. This is one of the finest yachts I've been able to bring to the channel, and this price is also a really good value for money option, considering that this one would be at least 3 times the price brand new. You see we've got brackets mounted here for storing paddle boards. The owners have enjoyed a number of saltwater activities on board, and this one's ready to go again. But as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments, and if you can leave a comment down below, if you haven't done so already, if you can hit that like and subscribe button, it really does make a difference. As always, I look forward to catch you on the next one. Thanks everyone.